All right, now the racism I was exposed to in Georgia had to do a lot with the N word, right? And the fact that African Americans couldn't really blush, right? And turn red when they blushed, right? All right. Um, so that depends on your hue, right? Now, even an albino is an African American, right? Because it's a recessive gene, right? That's the problem, right? And see, when people lie, they lie because they want to lie. They want to distort the truth, right? Well, see, thing is, African Americans do blush, but you don't see their cheeks turning red, right? Things like that, right? But they do get warm or things like that, right? There's a way to tell they're blushing, but it's not through their cheeks turning red, right? Now, another thing the person I'm arguing with doesn't understand is the Ethiopian said Noah was white and red, right? Well, what does that mean, right? Well, it's talking about blushing there too, right? If you're an albino and you're white, you turn red when you blush, right? And that's what they're using against African Americans to say they're not human. They don't blush, right? Um, Things like that, right? And they also, again, secretly know that the sin in Eden was sexual. And again, right, they blame the Africans for that, right? They think they're the line of Ham, and the line of Ham was cursed, when it was really the line of Canaan that was cursed, right? That was one of the grandsons of Noah, who may have inadvertently went into the tent with him while he was drunk with wine, right? Now, Noah didn't know Canaan was with him, or did he? We don't know, right? See, there's two ways it could have happened, like I'm telling you, two versions of a story where I'm asleep on the couch and my stepdaughter could have woke me up in the middle of the night if she came in there at all, right? And there's a reason for that. I was asleep on the couch for over 4 days before I even met the girl, right? And she was around her biological dad, right? Now, if he had a problem with Daphne marrying me, right? All right. That's another reason why she might have to get rid of me, right? Not just, right? Right. Because she got her daughter back from her mom. But again, I'm guessing because I don't recall if she came in there or not, right? But problem is, with my disability, I can black out, right? So they're making me think something could have happened, right? And I blacked out at the car wreck and the fall, so I don't know if something happened or not, right? But that's still honesty, right? It's not dishonesty, right? To the best of my knowledge and belief, though, I didn't do anything but sleep on the couch until I moved back to base, right? Even if I interacted with the stepdaughter during the day, like we ate dinner Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday we would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together, and then breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Sunday, and then I would move back to base, right? And usually you stay up a little later on the weekends if you're the stepdad on the couch, right? And might watch TV to like 1 or 2, right, on the weekends, and then during the week you're in bed by 11 and you're up between 6:30 and 7 to get to work by 8, right? Things like that, dude, right? Now this is a mundane though thing I'm talking about, a normal thing, right? Now, stories in the Bible are exceptions, right? In other words, they're weird things that happen that they're mentioning that happened that they want you to know happened, but that probably shouldn't have happened, right? They're not telling you the normal things like what they did daily, right, without, it becoming an issue, right? Like when they got the manna, they were to daily gather it until the Sabbath day when they were to gather enough for 2 days, right? And then they had to gather extra manna, right? Things like that. And they only tell you that once, but if they're in the desert for 40 years, right, that's 40 years worth of gathering the manna, right? Right. They don't tell you that every day, right? During the 40 years they gathered the manna, but you're to deduce that. You're to understand that until they went into the promised land, they gathered the manna, right? Right. For example, there too, right? Now, around the time of Daniel to Alexander the Great, the Jews quit using the divine name. Not because Moses said to, but because some rabbi, right, during that time thought it a good idea to quit using it. Right. Right or wrong, they quit using it. Right. That's part of the problem too, but the way they use their language is how you might configure it out. See, that's what I did, right? Well, there's Sar, for instance, for Prince, Yisrael, not Ra-El, by the way. Whoever named Israel didn't name it correctly, right? It is Sar-El, I know. Or E-Sar-El, I know. Or Ye-Sar-El, right? Actually. In the Hebrew, it starts with a yod or a y. But again, whatever. You can call your country what you want to call your country. And things like that too. You can call God Adonai or whatever. Yud He Vav He, whatever, right? But Sarah is the point to Sar, right? Well, Eliyahu is Elijah's name, right? And Moses' name is Moshe, ends with the H too, right? Well, that makes it feminine, actually. Um, so is Deborah. Huldah. Now, Abigail means father of joy. But the girl isn't her own father, but her real name is what? Joy. He's the father of joy. Right. Exactly. And named her Abigail because he was the father of joy. Got the joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Okay, that's the point there, right? So, a lot of people, though, misconstrues things. And if Eliyahu is the masculine form, Yahuwah would be the feminine form. But is that why they quit using it? Because the divine name was feminine and not masculine, right? And they didn't think that other nations around them would understand it, so they quit using it altogether, right? Though that to the Lord says they're embarrassed of its name, right? You know what I mean, right? Right. So that could be an issue, right? With God, right? So when you decided to quit using the name, right, you sinned against God according to the one who keeps track of your sin, which is really Satan, right? Our enemy. Our enemy. Ha Satan, or Satan, is your enemy. Is your enemy. Your enemy, okay, doesn't expect you to do anything right. Your enemy always plots your demise. Your enemy is never your friend, and you can't convince them otherwise, right? And some people act as your enemy, even in reality today, because they think they know you better than you know yourself, and they don't, and they won't listen to you. They're obviously listening to someone else in their own head, and they don't get that. No, no. Whatever they're listening to is their idea of you and not the truth of you, right? They can't take their idea of you and make you what they want you to be, right? You got to remember that too, right? They want you to be the loser. They want you to be the person they despise the most, right? Who might have been the real one to expose them to homosexuality, not you, not you. But the way they did it, they tried to do it with you too, but you told them no or interfered with it, right? And you knew what was going on more than they did, right? And they didn't like it when you stopped them and got mad with you and became your enemy, all right? That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like Chris Domkowski, my step cousin. Right? He's not even my biological cousin, he's a step cousin. And not a good one at that. But again, he can't get over what he tried to do with a 12-year-old boy who was visiting his aunt in Pennsylvania. Eerie, huh? Eerie, huh? But the 12-year-old boy knows what he was doing wasn't about the cousin because he was asleep when the cousin came in, right? So the cousin would have to misconstrue something he was doing while asleep as something he wouldn't do in a way. And that's the difference there too, right? And that's usually called a wet dream, right? In medical terms. Now, all the boy knows is the cousin tried to say he was gay in the morning, right? And yet, in order to prove he wasn't gay, he had to dance with a female cousin to prove he responds to females, not males, right? So whatever happened, it confused the step cousin, right? But not the boy, not the boy. You see what I mean? The boy knew what it was, but the cousin didn't want to acknowledge what it really was. And therefore the cousin became the problem, not the boy. Not the boy. The boy let it go. The cousin won't let it go, I guess. He's the problem. He's the problem. All right, but those are some things I learned growing up.